Hi everyone, it's Natalie here. So, welcome to my channel. This will be part 3 of my little series about the Navigators of the Mystic Sea Tarot, which is a deck I only just recently picked up online. I think that's hilarious that's the card that's on the back here. I did not pick that up before. I wasn't paying close enough attention. Anyway, gorgeous freaking deck. It's actually way ahead of its time. I believe, as I've said in my other videos, that, and it's this one in the middle, I believe, as I said in my other videos, that this deck is, what do I want to say? Like, it is probably made in 1996. That's the water, the little copyright mark here in the corner is what it says. So yeah, it is a fascinating deck. I think it's way ahead of its time. And if I'm repeating myself, forgive me. It's not a cognitive issue. I've literally repeated myself several times in an attempt to get this video started. So unfortunately, I have no idea what I have or haven't said, because I keep changing angles and messing with the camera, and then something goes wrong, or I end up showing an address on camera that I forgot was there, and yeah, it's not great. But this is the third attempt, which is not a big deal. It's only been a few minutes, but within all of this, so just to bring you up to date, if this is the first video you're seeing in this series, just so you have a context for what I keep referring to. Recently, while cleaning out my mom and dad's house where they lived for 40 years, and I lived when I was growing up, at least for most of the time I was growing up, I found my old American Tarot Association teleclasses paperwork and ATA newsletters. That gives you a sense of like how old these are. And yeah, I mean, I was a member from probably 1997 maybe, until probably around 2000, 2001, somewhere in there. And then finally I was in Britain, and, you know, by that point, long since, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense to be part of an American Tarot Association. So I probably let my membership lapse at that point, and then never really pulled it back again. So anyhow, that's that. But something I had recognized or realized recently, and was not really, I was a little embarrassed about, if I'm honest, was that my original mentor in the ATA had been Julia Turk, who is the author, creator of the Navigators of the Mystic Sea Tarot. And the more I reflect on that, the more horrified I feel, rightly or wrongly, because I'm blown away by her work, and very excited about it, which I didn't have the space for at that time. At that time, I wanted to work with Rider-Waite-Smith. My idea of what the Thoth was a completely different thing. My understanding was that it was a kind of an evil deck, you know, stay away, yada yada. I was a child of the 80s and 90s. I guess technically I was born in the 70s. But, you know, really as a kid growing up, like satanic panic, that was a major thing. Like satanic panic and just say no to drugs has really made an impact on my life in ways I never realized until recently, that I'm still, like, my psychology is still heavily impacted by that. It made a huge impression. They used a lot of scare tactics and fear tactics when I was growing up. The idea of runaways, going off the rail. I mean, it was, you know, it was all very, very conservative. So what do you do? Anyway, moving along. So just suffice it to say, there's some influences. There's some influences. So I wanted to look at the Thoth, which this is a very badly trimmed copy of the Thoth that I did, I don't know, a long time ago, several, 5, 6, 7 years ago, probably 5 years ago. Look at that. Look at that. That's terrible. When I, when I realized like I wanted to come back to tarot, and I was super excited to come back to tarot, and I really wanted to get into this deck because I'd always wanted to get into the Thoth and had never done it because, see, also I had been told it was evil. So, and satanic panic and all of that, it's done. So, and now I'm like super, well, we know. And if you don't, you get a clue. You get a sense of it. So yeah, so that's what we have here. And it's been very badly trimmed and modified, and I had a great time doing it and playing with it and learning how to modify a deck, and I still love this one, even though it's really ragged and really seriously messed up. This is the Tarot of the Spirit by Pamela Eakins, and this one has also been modified. I cut the side borders off because they were extremely intrusive. So to give you an idea of just how intrusive those borders really were, let's just look at I'll bring our little fool back again so that you can see. You can sort of see like just how much border is either side here. Like, yeah, right? So there was that much border on these cards. And of course we had like copyright, all the way across. And I just thought, yeah, I think I'm going to just cut those off so that I can see the cards as unimpeded as possible. I feel like this is probably now, like this deck is probably closer to like the size and width-wise of like a typical Fournier deck. And since I've got 3 of those on their way in the near future, we'll be able to actually know that for sure. How about that? But also to give us some sense of like what the size is. I didn't even think about this when I was actually filming this the first time, but that's the difference in size with the Navigators. So it's a little shorter if you're someone with small hands. You know, this could be for you. This could be an influence. And it's that wonderful card. The cardstock is very similar to this US Games, but this one was printed in Switzerland by AGM. And so it is a little different. It is just a little bit different. Yeah. But these, you know, these are both Thoth inspired and come from around the same time period in the 90s. And then the Fool, of course, we know, well, we know about the Thoth. We know about the Thoth Tarot. So, yeah. Yeah. So that said, we've got emanation as the key word here. I don't know that we really necessarily need to do, I want to look at the images together, but I also am really curious about the keywords. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit closer to really see what we're looking at here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So this gives us a better view, I think, I hope, so we can really look. Okay, so we've got emanation for the Fool, encapsulation, and unfortunately we don't have any keywords for either of these on the side of the majors. Okay, Archpriestess, the Priestess, and the High Priestess. I mean, I'm stricken by the similarities either side here. Really stricken. Something else to note. You know, we've got the Tree of Life here on this card, and then this is a card that comes with when you purchase the Tarot of the Spirit. It comes now anyway. You purchase a contemporary copy, not a vintage copy. It comes with, let's see if I line it up. Comes with a Tree of Life, so that you can see the way that I think it was her mother, Pamela Eakins' mother, who painted these. But you can kind of see how that came together, which I never get tired of doing on this deck. Like, and I keep this out because I like to refer to it, and all you really need is a piece of paper or something, you know, light colored to put behind it. Here's some of my, you know, notebook paper, and you've got your instant reference right there, and it's very easy to work with. So I always have that nearby. Okay. Right, so here we have Empress. They're all beautiful. They're nothing alike. Conception. Well, they're not unalike. I mean, we have a swan in both. And green is really prevalent in all three, even though they're completely different shades. Fascinating. Okay, so Emperor is next. I know these are going to be very, very, very different indeed, although, again, we're getting so much similarity here. Propulsion. And again, movement is emphasized here, whereas on either side here, it is not. Very interesting. Okay, Hierophant. Yeah, very different. So interesting. Okay. Ooh, look at the colors. All right, the Lovers. Gosh, look at that. The color, all three, really. Wow. Okay. The Chariot. Look at those colors. I mean, you can see, can't you, that when she painted this deck, this one was definitely being considered. And I know that Julia Turk, I was including some of these, like there's some of the red here on that I just need her real book, like the actual book she wrote. Okay. Omnipotence for strength. I've always loved this strength card where the person becomes the caduceus, and it's like we also get the two pillars on either side. Yeah, I'm gonna have to just pinch these between my knees, I think. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna have to use one hand for doing all of this. So yeah, I've always loved this one because it does the snakes, the arms, the high priestess reference in here in a way. Similarly, keeping with, where is it? You know, the two pillars on either side of the Tree of Life, right? And also the idea of Kundalini for me is in there. But then on this side, she's kept the snake reference, right? Which I also appreciate. Or she's also borrowed from that. She's also included a lion. And we've got a serpent on fire here. One of them is on fire. The other one's wrapped around her and around her two familiars. I don't know. I'm fascinated by this. I want to know more about the symbolism. And then, interestingly, we're contrasting that with adjustment over here, which is clearly not playing in the same ballpark. So we've got a total, you know, theoretically like Tree of Life inspired and possibly inspired by Thoth, but, and we're going to see how that overlaps here, but we're in Justice over here. So I'm actually going to put Justice, the Justice card and the 2 Strength cards to one side because we're going to need to come back to those. Then we've got the Hermit. Yeah. They could not be more different. Sorry, I keep moving the camera. Come on, camera. Work with me here. Yeah, we've got these 3. I mean, these 2 are facing to the left. This Hermit is face on, or face forward. Yeah. Exaltation. All right, so Wheel of Fortune. This is going to be fascinating. Yeah, very different. This one is more, you know, the spokes of the wheel. This one's, yeah, they're very different. We have more, yeah, wow. There's just so much in here. Rotation. This one actually has the feel of movement. We've got some glyphs. Here we've got satellite dishes. I don't know what they are. We've got figures balancing in space. I can't really see those creatures at the bottom in the corner. But there's so much information in this card. I want the book. I want the book. Okay. Then we have so fascinating. All right, let's be able to like cross-reference a little here. So here is Justice. So equilibration. This one is just adjustment. We're also calling it destiny. And here we're calling it karma. Camera time. So yeah, we're completely in different perspectives about what it is we're dealing with here. Fascinating. And again, I love about this deck, Tarot of the Spirit, which I'm really loving even more right at this moment, is the way these 3 work together is amazing, but also just, again, we've got towers either side. We've got the 2 towers. And then to look back again at strength, because now we're at lust. Right, we've still got the lion, we've got the physicality, you know, and even though we're not seeing it in these cards, I'm still seeing the influence. Of course I would, because of movement. See also movement, meditation, energy work, etc. The movement of the spine, right? The movement of the spine. So when the spine is in a state of extension, which it is here, right, for this particular person, of course we associate an extended spine where it's like arching backward with lust or sexual energy. You know, that's also how we move energy, right? And it gives us strength. So getting our whole energy system going, which actually does the snakes in Kundalini, of course, we say that they're concentrated and focused at the sacrum in the pelvis. Here we have a pillar representing the spine, you know, with the person or sort of feminine looking being wrapped around it, and or the snakes wrapped around it and her. So we're getting that energy moving upward, energy moving with the focus upward. Yeah, fascinating. They're all energetically focused, in other words. So, you know, whether the strength is arising from lust or whether it's arising from, you know, sorry, just moving all of these so that something's coherent for me here later on. They're still arising and changing. So here we have a Hanged Man. I appreciate here that we're just talking suspension. And again, we've got a deck of cards where the humanoid figures are human, but very non-binary in their representation. Switching hands here with the camera. Sorry about all of the wobbly. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, so here we go. Death, skeletons, curvature, slashing, not having that here. We're really focused on the transformative aspects, although they're not missing from these two. Okay. Verification. Okay, we've got art and temperance. I love that we've got a different, I really love that we've got a different, we've got differences here. I actually love differences. But I also love that she has focused on the art and the title. God, there's so much in here. Verification. Yeah, this is my card of the year for 2023. I'm a Sagittarius. So my card of the year and my card of the year birthday wise, you know, solar return wise, are always pretty much the same. Okay. So now we have the Devil. And we've got subjugation, which is definitely the theme here. But the Devil card in the Thoth is not that principle. It's really not the same principle at all. It goes a different direction. And it's actually very positive. We are clearly looking at testicles and sexual energy, right? But it's liberating, it's not subjugating. So although we do have the two devil face references there. Okay. Fascinating. God, fascinating. All of them are focused around fire and lightning. Yeah. There's almost an eye shape here, just as there is there. I'm not seeing one in this card. There is some sort of a beastie looking thing down here, and we've got this beast at the lower corner. Wow, I just saw the lamb running away in this one. Oh, wow. Yep. There's just so much in there. Okay. Interesting. Okay, this is so clearly influenced. Can we do this? Yeah, I think we kind of can, except it's really distracting. Let's see if I can't. So we've got a lot of similarity between these two cards. Do you see those lines in the center here and here? The eye. There's a lot in the compositional detail that's very similar. Wow. God, Frida Harris. Come on, man. She was the most extraordinary artist. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is exquisite. I love this so much. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Look at that. God, that's beautiful. To think I nearly skipped over the majors because I was like, well, there's no keywords on the majors. To hell with it. This is just marvelous to see these. Again, I'm stricken by how much I love this deck. God, I've always loved the Thoth deck. I've always thought, why is this one evil? It's so pretty. It can't be evil. How can anything so pretty be evil? But you know, people are dumb. God, they're so pretty. They're all so different. And so we follow with the moon. I mean, this is, they're all going a different direction. Each of them is going a direction, I think, dictated by, you know, the interpretation of the creators and authors. They're all a little bit different from one another. Sorry about all the movement, guys. I swear did not intend for this to be the case. Luna in this one is a woman, and all of this stuff is taking place as part of her shadow. It's been a while since I read the book. I don't remember if that's what it says. Then here we do get like the creatures, we do get creepy crawlies coming up from the depths in all three. I've always been fascinated by this moon card in the Thoth with the waves, you know, the sort of sine waves and what those impart about cycles and so on. Anyhow, beautiful. And gratification is the key word here. Which I think, you know, if you think about a full moon or something coming to a fullness, gratification makes sense. Oh, these sun cards, all three together. Look at that. That by itself communicates so much. God, that's beautiful. Yeah, sorry, I'm just really taking them in. Both of these with faces and figures inside of the sun. Organization. I wonder if that relates to the concept of integration in any way, or I don't know. All right, here we go. Resurrection is the name of this card in Spirit, Tarot of the Spirit, but it's Eon in both of these. And I really see the overlap between these two with the figures and the this kind of arching feature. There's also this kind of triangular feature. It's here too. Actually, wow, that's rather striking in all three, that sort of triangular feel there. We are getting that arching feel, I guess, and this one is just more like yoni womb-like, although I guess we could say it is here, but it's also like an ankh. Very interesting. You know, you all will see things that I don't because I'm now, you know, looking at the camera as well. Universe, wow. So I love all three have chosen universe instead of world. Fascinating too that we've got a golden colored figure for all three. As a Tibetan practitioner of Buddhism, we look at there's a golden colored goddess figure that's referred to as Prajna Paramita, and that means wisdom. It means the perfection of wisdom. And she is, when it is personified as a goddess figure, which it's not in the rest of Buddhism, but it is in Vajrayana Buddhism. She's personified as being gold in color and being, you know, the progenitor, the individual, the being that births everything into existence. So fascinating that would be there. She also represents the perfection of wisdom of emptiness. So very interesting. I think, let's see, how long have we gone? We've gone 30 minutes. I think we'll do this in 2 parts. So I'll be back with the minors in the next video. So I guess this is going into a part 4, but here we have all of the majors. And just to keep it from not being so horrifically long, we will do a second video. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.